Next is concealer. So obviously there's two main purposes for concealer. The first one is to cover blemishes. Hint, hint. Pimple location on my chin. A few different products that you can use. Mainly, the products that you can use to cover blemishes, I would say would be these stick kind of products. This is just the Maybelline Cover Stick, and this one's medium beige and this one's ivory. I would be using a medium beige, and there's not much left of this one. The other product that I have recently discovered that covers blemishes and scars really well is this Maybelline Dream Lumi Touch. It's just one of those ones with the bristles. Excuse this little guy here, and you wind it up, and I just use my fingers because I think that's a little bit unhygienic to put that straight on your blemish. And the same with this, I just use my fingers to apply it. There are such things as concealer brushes, so they would look something like this. This one here is quite dense and it's just shaped like this, so it can be easily mistaken for an eyeshadow brush. I do like to myself use my fingers because I find that it warms up the concealer and you dab it on and blend it out. Warmth of your fingers will actually melt the product and it will seep into your skin better and it will look a little more flawless. So today for this big guy here, I'm going to actually use this cover stick and I'm just gonna dab it on there. It won't, of course, hide the bump, but it will cover the redness. And this guy up here. And you can kind of just dab it on and then dab it like in a circle around it so that it kind of blends it out. I do have some scars over this side, so for that I'm going to use my Dream Lumi Touch pen. Just put some over there, and again just dab it and around the area. Now onto the other use for concealer. So the other use for concealer is to highlight your face. Now the areas that you want to highlight would be typically underneath the eye. You can, of course, down your nose, a little bit on your forehead, cupid's bow, and sometimes your chin. It's a personal preference, so whatever floats your boat. To highlight, and especially anything underneath the eyes, you want a product that doesn't crease, that is moisturizing, and that is usually a shade or two lighter than your skin tone or whatever color the rest of your face is. Today I'm going to be using the Maybelline Age Rewind Dark Circles Eraser. It's a cream product. You do want to stay away from the stick products underneath your eyes because they can crease. These ones are so moisturizing. Well, for me, they don't crease, they stay all day. They highlight really well. So this one's just a windy up one. Now to highlight, I would go from the inside of the eye there and kind of draw a triangle there all the way to the temples and then fill it in. The same on the other side. And then I would do down my nose and my forehead like that. I know I look a little bit cray right now. And a little bit on my cupid's bow. And I think I'll skip my chin today because there's already enough attention drawing to it. Now you can always go back for more, and as I said, I do use my fingers for my concealer, so I will just work it in there by patting it. You don't want to rub it, as I said before, that can create wrinkles, so you want to stay away from that. So I would just pat it and blend it in. You can blend it into the top of your eyelid, that won't change anything. I find that patting it in does blend it very well as well, very naturally. And you want to get in all those little nooks and crannies underneath your eye and blend it out towards the temple. The same with blending it on your nose and your forehead. Just dab it up and down your nose, and where it is there, you do want to make sure that it's blended quite well on your forehead because you don't want those lines from where you drew it. And just the cupid's bow, just tap that. Now you will see that those areas are lighter than the rest of my face, and if you need, you can take what's left on your foundation brush and kind of blend that in as well. Okay, so now we're all highlighted. It's time for powder. What's really important for me for powder is something that will stay all day, that will control my oil and give me that matte look all day. There are two powders that I religiously will use, and they are the Australis Fresh and Flawless Pressed Powder and the Bourjois Healthy Balance Powder as well. So these two I find stay all day. This one does say it's a 10-hour powder, and I do find it actually lasts better than the Australis one. So today I'm going to be using my Bourjois powder. I will take it on a kabuki brush. Some people do like to use like a powder brush, like a fluffy brush like this, but I find for my skin what works best is taking it on a kabuki brush, pressing it in to my skin. Now when I do this, I do usually do my highlighting bits first, but I forgot to do that. But I'll just dab this where I need it. And also remember to blend it down your neck as well. And if you've been watching my videos, you know I always do this before I do that, but I use a translucent powder to set the concealer underneath my eyes and where I have highlighted. Now I just like to use the Face of Australia loose translucent powder, but you can use any one, it doesn't make a difference. Like, I only have this one and it's going to last a very long time for what product that I use on a daily basis. Just looks like this. It's a very pale, but it will just match your skin tone, whatever color you've got underneath. I do like to take it on a fluffy brush. This is like an eye fluffy brush, and this is just the face one. So this one is just from BH Cosmetics. I find that it is really great for that area. So I just take a bit and then tap it off, and then I'll just press it in there underneath my eyes. The reason why you use a lighter powder or a translucent powder is because if you just use a normal powder, it won't look like you've highlighted at all. So that's why I think it's important to use a lighter powder there. On my T section above my forehead, and then Cupid's bow as well, and just make sure that that's really pressed in there underneath the eyes, and just blend it out to the temples, and then it still looks highlighted. Now we've already done primer, foundation, concealer, powder. I know this seems like such a journey, but to get a flawless face, it takes time. So that's it for my concealer and powder routine. If you haven't already checked out my primer and foundation routine, go and have a look. And my contouring video will be out next Wednesday. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again on Wednesday. Bye!